Friends, Romans, they, them, and countrymen. What's going on, guys? It's Wes Sample, and this is the Wes Sample podcast. I finally decided to do a podcast. I don't know, most of you might know me out there in Facebook land, but other than YouTube, I'll let you know who I am. I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been doing comedy here in San Diego for, 25 years. Last 10 years, I've been down in Mexico doing tours. Down there, I did some FM radio back in the early 2000s. And I'm jumping on this podcast train a little late, just like I did the radio, but whatever, I'm here. Let's do this. And I decided to call it the Wes Sample Podcast because I don't know, really self-absorbed. I don't know, maybe. No, just didn't. If you think of a better podcast name, let me know. But it's kind of cool because I threw it out there on Facebook. I was just kind of always wanting to do the podcast, and just threw it out there. Hey, anybody is capable of doing podcasts? And my buddy, Joe, producer Joe. Where are you, Joe? You back there somewhere? Can you hear me?
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Joe. How's it going, brother?
Good, Wes. Thanks for, wait, I'm having you on. No, are you having me on? Wait, what are we doing?
We'll both have our way with each other.
I like it.
Anyway, dude, I'm so happy that we connected. We've, been so close, like, to getting together for years. You've always been in the radio. I did some radio back in the day. You remember when I did the Keeping It Weird show? We did on 102. Yeah, I did that for a little while. And I knew of you. You did the ratings, correct?
I did. I wrote an article for radio. I was in radio. We all know the same people in comedy. As I would go to the Comedy Store up in Hollywood once a month. My late best friend, Jeff Scott, thanks to him. God bless him. But here we are now. You wanted a podcast, and look what this is. I produce podcasts, so here we are.
It's open. Heck yeah. And if anybody out there in, anybody listening wants to start a podcast, Joe does them. How can they get a hold of you, Joe?
Well, I will put my email address right here on the screen as soon as I can find it. Hey, there we are. So, yeah, they can email me. I produce them. I have my own show, the Producer Joe Show. I just had the content, what do they call it? Like standards and practices for ABC. That he decided what went on your television with Roseanne, Home Improvement, and a bunch of others. So check it out. But we are here today to talk about your show, the Wes Sample Show. Who's your guest today, Wes?
Thanks, Joe. So today I felt it would be cool if I had one of my longest friends in comedy on. This guy, we've been doing comedy together for 25 years. I think he started before me, actually. And he was the first comedian on my radio show, so I thought, why not podcast? But let's bring on international headliner, Mr. Patrick DeGuire.
Hey, what's up?
Patrick!
What's going on?
What's that?
I said, what's going on?
You and me, baby. We've been doing this 25 years. Stand up.
We've been doing this for a long time. Lots and lots of memories. Some we can share and some we can't.
Exactly. We'll be coming up on stage on a walker. We'll be doing whatever. But dude, I'm super stoked to have you on. And I remember, do you remember you were one of my first guests on my radio show back in the day?
Yeah.
And I believe you were on tour. You were overseas when you called in, actually. So
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised. I've been going overseas, performing for the troops for quite some time. So that sounds about right.
Yeah, and hold on one sec. Oh, wow. Okay, is there something I can do for you? Well, no. Hi. Okay. Thanks. That was very awkward. Great. All right. Good thing he can cut this out. But hey, let's cut to the chase. And you started, let's let all the listeners know how you got started in comedy. Like what led you to do comedy?
Yeah. So a number of years ago, started to lose a lot of my vision because of an eye disease called optic neuritis. So my mom was reading an article in the Union Tribune about the Comedy Store manager at the time, Fred Burns,
Yep.
who suffered from spinal bifida, and how he was turning, what he was dealt with into a positive and making people laugh. And she said, look, my mom, she said, look, in high school, you were the class clown. And what about doing this as a means of feeling better about your situation, using it as self-therapy? And sure enough, started doing stand-up. First started at the Comedy Store.
Sorry to interrupt you, but how old were you, and what was going on?
I was in my early 20s, real early 20s. At the time, I was working at Pepsi as a merchandiser.
I remember that.
And optic neuritis, it affects the optic nerve. Started having bad vision in my left eye. Eventually, it went to the right eye. A lot of people with optic neuritis have MS, multiple sclerosis. Thank God I don't have that. But yeah, I started doing stand-up as a form of self-therapy, and never look back. But yeah, able to turn a negative into a positive.
Exactly, man. And so you started the Comedy Store in La Jolla.
Yep.
What year did you start?
If I had to guess, 97, 98-ish.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Started off, and then early on, as you know, Wes, I collaborated with Wally Wong. It's hard to believe he's no longer with us, and Dat Fan, and we formed what would you call it? Not so much a comedy troupe, but we put together comedy shows, and we called ourselves Top Bananas. And we would put together comedy shows, at coffee shops, at homeless shelters, VFWs, moose lodges, elks lodges. And, we did quite a bit down in San Diego.
You guys were pretty much the guys back in the day, man. You were like the top comics back in San Diego back in the day. And it was crazy about the comedy back then. You didn't have all the choices you have today. You didn't have all these outlets. You're either going to be, on the Tonight Show, or you're going to get a sitcom. Or you're going to be a road comic. That's kind of what you did. Is you were smart and you went out on the road. You just didn't stay. A lot of comics get stuck, at the Comedy Store. Great place, but you don't want to spend too much time there.
Yeah, I very, very early on, I started working the road. And you have to remember, Wes, back then, it wasn't that difficult to make a living as an opener, as a feature, if you had merch. The cost to travel was a lot less, and comedy clubs were open longer. Typically a comedy club was open Wednesday through Sunday. There were a lot more comedy clubs out there, so you could make a pretty good living. And you've known me, Wes. Yep. I've been hustling forever. And very, very early on, I started touring the country. Moved up from opener to feature to co-headliner, and then eventually headliner. Yeah.
And just grinding, man. You are one of the hardest working comics I've ever met. I mean, you're constantly on the phone. We go on the road, and you're just on your phone.
Yeah. I love it.
So, why didn't, back in the day, you did the Comedy Store a lot. And they didn't give you the love back then. It took you a long. I was always mad at the Comedy Store for years. They just, as good as you were, you didn't get those Friday, Saturday nights at the Comedy Store, and yet you were touring all over the country doing clubs, but just up till recently, you're in the Comedy Store headlining weekends.
I haven't headlined a weekend yet. But but thank you for noticing when I'm featuring on the weekends. But no, the look, Mitzi came out to the store in San Diego, La Jolla. She watched me, brought me up to Hollywood, went up there a number of times, but with the loss of vision, I knew it was going to be difficult for me to get up to LA. And I had some friends at the time that could take me up to LA. But for me, I was making a good amount of money working the road. And I was already working the Laugh Factory on Sunset quite a bit in the improvs. So, back then, comics were either performing at the Improv and or Laugh Factory or the store. And, I pretty much chose not to pursue the Comedy Store. I mean, the Comedy Store was an iconic, legendary comedy club, but I chose not to pursue it, not because it was beneath me, but because I can't drive, and I had so many opportunities with people driving me to get up to LA. And most of those times I was performing at the Laugh Factory or at the Improv.
Yeah.
So I remember more choice on this end than on their end.
Yeah. And I mean, you deserve all the respect in the world, but not looking back, that was your choice. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Exactly. But I remember I got to thank you for getting me into a lot of clubs I wouldn't have got into otherwise. You got me into the into the Improvs up there, Pasadena Ice House one night. So that's
And what about Fourth and B? Remember you and I performing on a regular basis? You have to tell your listeners how iconic Fourth and B was.
Oh, just all the bands that came through there and
the comedians.
Oh, who was the guy that put on the shows there? Doc Carter?
Doc did the Urban Nights, and then Judy Carter and Alan Chamberlain did the mainstream nights, and I think the Latino nights.
If I'm doing the Urban Nights, I'm packing, bro. I'm packing every time, but but no, the Fourth and B was cool. I was the house MC there for I don't know, a year or two.
Yeah, and you opened up for a number of comedians, right?
Yeah, I'd done a show. It was the guy from Howard Stern. He was on the radio. I happened to get an in studio thing, and he's like, "You're a comedian?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to host this Rock 105.3 show?" And there were 1,500 people there. It was amazing. And the club owner ended up liking me, and he's like, "Hey, you're like a rock opener, because I come out with high energy a lot."
Yeah.
And I ended up opening up for Steven Adler, the Guns N' Roses drummer. That was incredible. And the singer for the old Stephen Piercy from Rat.
Exactly. I remember that. Yeah, that was such an iconic venue. I mean, I remember working that venue. I mean, starting out working with the likes of Gabriel Iglesias. I actually showcased for the Montreal Laugh Festival there, and Cat Williams was showcasing with me. And back then, he was known as Cat in the Hat. Yeah. I also did a show with Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. Yeah, I mean, lots and lots of memories working at that venue. And yeah, I mean, San Diego, when you and I were grinding San Diego together, there was a lot of places to perform. And I tell people when we were performing in the early 2000s, Wes, I think San Diego had so much talent. I mean, Bobby Lee was down here. Darren Carter, Vicky
Yep.
Barbalak, Karen Ontowski, Jonathan Gottsick, Balt Shefflin, Ron Ferguson, obviously Wally Wong, Dat Fan, Chris Clobber, Zoo Man. I mean, San Diego was deep when it came deep.
Yeah, I was a doorman there. You know, I was a doorman, and just being able to rub shoulders with a lot of the big comics that would come through there and just be around comedy. Oh, it was just a dream. And especially, and the La Jolla Comedy Store has got to be one of the best rooms in the country.
Oh, without a doubt. And I didn't even mention Fred Burns and Frank Mazzano. I mean, San Diego was so deep when it came to talent. Unbelievable. You and I had mentors. I think what's happening now in the San Diego scene is there aren't a lot of mentors. There truly aren't. I mean, Zoltan is living down here in San Diego, but he's constantly on the road. I'm constantly on the road.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of, you know, those comedians that you and I had to look up to teach us when we were coming up.
Yeah, I know, man. Well, how about, you know, you've performed with a lot of guys that have come up big and Fluffy, Gabriel. Tell everybody about the show. How many people were in the audience when you got to perform with Fluffy?
Last year, I worked with Gabriel, and I think there might have been 10, 15,000, perhaps even more. It was a huge arena up in Washington. But yeah, I mean, I've known Gabe forever. I mean, Gabe and I, and you've been to this show. We used to drive out to El Centro, do shows for the Police Athletic League. I mean, I used to work with Gabriel so much, Felipe. I mean, the list goes on. Ralphie May, you know, back in the day, I was bringing out Theo Vaughn and Tom Segura to Gitmo. I mean, it's pretty neat. When I think back, the number of comedians I've worked with, I mean, toured with George Lopez, Paul Rodriguez, you know, Roseanne Barr, Arsenio Hall, Louis Anderson, you know, God bless, he's no longer with us, but so many comedians, you know, doing this. I've been blessed.
Some of my best memories were, I remember when I was like fresh, you know, into comedy, and you had a show out at San Nicolas Island, and I think Edwin San Juan was going to go. He went, and I think Shema Tosh, who's out in Vegas now.
Yes.
But we flew out of that. When we took it off, we flew, and I was like, I'm flying to do comedy now. I'm making this, making it. But it was cool flying out there. But what about, you've had some crazy overseas tours?
Oh man, I mean, I was just in the Middle East. We're performing at an undisclosed base in Jordan. And when we're driving back to Qatar, I get a call letting me know that the base in Qatar is being evacuated. So we were told, you're not going to stay on the base, you're going to stay off base, but hang out for a couple of days, and then we'll fly you out to Djibouti, Africa. But then things started to get hotter and hotter and hotter. So we were told, get out, get back home. But you know what? I mean, that stuff doesn't bother me. I was in Iraq during the war, 2008. I was being flown by Black Hawk, going to those small bases, the forward operating bases, FOBs.
Were you ever under fire like Hillary Clinton claimed to be?
What's that?
Remember when Hillary Clinton, she claimed to be under fire, like, and it was all made. I don't want to get political.
You know what? I mean, we had some moments flying from base to base on those Blackhawks. I mean, never, I don't think, in danger, but there were a couple of moments where, you know, your
No,
butt.
you're in good hands.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
They're like, we got you, man. We got you, funny man.
For sure.
That's amazing. What do you got coming down the pipe?
Let's see. Tonight I'm going to be performing in Temecula. This Friday, Saturday, I'll be at Laughs in Tucson. And then on the 19th of this month, I'll be in Greenland performing at our Space Force station out there.
Get out of here. Wait a minute. What? You're going to Greenland to perform at a Space Force. That doesn't even sound real.
Yeah, Space Force station out there. I've been there before. I was out there with Paul Rodriguez about 2 years ago. And I'm going back out with Concrete. Very, very funny comic. Huge social media following. And Johnny Herrera, good friend of mine. Very, very funny. I brought him out to Alaska about a month ago, Johnny, and we did some shows out there with Jamie Lissow. And then, I'm working here and there in March and April throughout San Diego up north. And then in May, I'll be traveling to Guam, Japan, Diego Garcia, and Singapore. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Man, maybe I get this felony wiped off my record. You can take me on the road again.
Right. And then, I think it's March 13th. They're going to be re-airing my my thing on Comics Unleashed on CBS. It first aired on February 6th, I think it was, but it's or January 6th. I forget. It was Groundhog's Day. That I remember that. But it's supposed to be airing again, I believe, on March 13th.
How's Byron Allen? How is that guy?
Super, super nice. I mean, I think he likes everyone.
But I think he's so real.
I was out there with Mal Hall, who obviously from San Diego, and Chris Millhouse, who has ties to San Diego, and with Laura Betts. So it was a really good show. I was very, very happy. So yeah, check me out.
Nice. Yeah, I think Byron Allen, a lot of people don't know it, but I think he's one of the richest comedians there is, right?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah. I mean, he has a lot going on. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm ramping up to get some Baja Mexico shows going. You've been on a lot of them.
I've been on a bunch.
Yeah, isn't that the best time?
Oh man, some of those venues are so Shaka Zulu.
Oh, Shaka's.
Shakas.
Yeah.
Comes to mind.
Shout
The San Antonio Winery, is it?
Guadalupe, Valle Guadalupe, yeah.
Okay. It's in San Antonio, right?
That's Texas.
No, but isn't there an area of Mexico, San Antonio?
There's San Antonio del Mar. I mean, we did Rosarito, Ensenada, San Felipe, Mulegé, Loreto, La Paz, all those places. So
La Paz is so much fun, so beautiful. But yeah, I know we did a winery. It was a winery. I thought it was San Antonio, but it was a winery that served some of the best pizza.
Oh no, that was Ochento's Pizza, and it was in the Valle de Guadalupe where they grow the grapes. So.
Okay. Have no idea why I'm thinking San Antonio, but yeah. And then we got gift bags of cocaine, so that was nice.
Oh man, it's always an adventure. I think we got pulled over. We went through a checkpoint one time. We may have not have some illegal substances on us, but Mexico, $20 gets you a long way. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I remember when they had us get out of the car at the checkpoint, and you're like, "Hey," because you guys, Patrick's vision's not too good. So he's like, hey, what in the hell is going on? I'm like, just be quiet and just get out of the car. He's like, what happened? Yeah, we ended up driving off, and we had nothing but a story to tell. So we're good.
I remember us staying at a sex hotel. Remember that hotel where you can pull your car into the driveway? And
so
then
what
you come into my room, and I'm watching porn up close. Remember?
I have a picture of it. I got it too. If I ever have to pull anything on you. No, but so those sex hotels are really kind of cool because, Mexico, the families, a lot of them live together, so out of respect, like the son may have a girlfriend that's living there or whatever. They go to the hotel. It's like 250 pesos for, a few hours or something. They do the deed and everything's good. It's all about respect. You're not, no chaka chaka in the parents' house, It's still discreet. And you know what? They're probably the cleanest hotels there are because remember how clean they were?
Yeah. I remember us being in Mexico when COVID hit. And remember we were going to a supermarket, and at the time in San Diego, toilet paper was running out, and there was nothing but stacks and stacks of toilet paper in Mexico, and I took some pictures. And
wasn't it crazy? We went on the tour. The shows were pretty good. We had some good crowds, and then it just started coming out. It was like in March, actually. Remember, it was like mid-March, I think. Yeah. And we were doing shows pretty soon. The attendance was down, and then they were like, "Hey, cancel the shows." And so we got on the plane and to go home, and we had masks on, and I was like, what is this? I wasn't buying it back then. I still don't buy it, but that's a whole nother podcast.
We were out there with Rick. It was me, you, and Rick.
Rick Isquieta, yeah, out of LA.
Yes.
Yeah, we had fun. Was that with Rick?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, it was cut short. I do remember that. But
yeah,
brother. So what else? So we got to get some shows together. I'm stoked that you were the first guest on the show.
I mean, I'm so happy that you're doing this. I think so many people, and obviously you being a bat boy for the Padres for so many years. I mean, whether it's comedy or whatever else, I think you're going to have so many stories and so many interesting gifts.
Because we're old.
Guests.
Because we're old. We have these stories. Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, we'll definitely, we got to do some shows together. And everybody out there, check out Patrick DeGuire. What is it, Patrick DeGuire Comedy?
It's Instagram is Patrick D Comedy, and then my website is patrickdeguirecomedy.com. But you can get to the website from the Instagram, Patrick D Comedy.
I know what the D stands for, but I don't know if we could talk about that.
Hey, I'm blessed.
All right, brother. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on, and all the best luck in the future. You're killing it as you have been for years, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Wes.
All right, my friend. Take it easy. Are we? All right.
All right. Well, we're still live here. This is going to be a little bit raw for the first couple of episodes. So that was a really good show. I know your listeners and viewers who are watching right now will agree. But this is about when you'd sign off and encourage them to come on back for the next one.
What Joe said.
No, just like that. No, you did really great, Wes. And that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching that. We will wrap it up now, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I'm really pumped to do it. And and thanks for everybody for tuning in. And I'm not the techie guy, so I'll get this figured out with Joe, and I'll tell you how to link up, and hopefully we can get it on a couple different outlets somewhere. I don't know. We'll talk about this, Joe. But
Absolutely,
And
man.
I want you to check out Joe's show. He had some local guy, like a local legend, Ted Leitner on. If you know Teddy Ball Game, check out his show. How do they see your show, Joe?
YouTube, SD Radio Joe. Smash that subscribe button. He was a lot of fun. He was very generous with his time and such a good guy. I know there's a lot of people who say they don't like him, but he's never been bad to me. Very generous.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Joe, and we'll do this again next week.
All right, brother. Let's shut her down, and we'll see you on the next show.
All right, bro. Take care, Joe.
Talk soon.